I'm Spencer from the Wellington County Library. Although our branches are physically closed to help prevent the spread of COVID-19, our online resources are available to anyone with a Wellington County Library card. If you don't have a card yet, you can visit our website at www.wellington.ca/library and look for the link to the COVID-19 library information. If you are a county resident, you can fill out a form and receive a temporary card. If you have any questions about your account, you can also contact your local branch through email. See the About Us page for that contact information. The book I'm going to talk about today is called A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, written by Mackenzi. I don't have a physical copy of this title available, but it is on Overdrive and Libby as a ebook and audiobook. To access Overdrive or to find a link to download the Libby app, you can visit our website and click ebooks near the top of the screen. A Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue is a young adult historical fiction adventure novel with an LGBT romance woven throughout. It's told from the point of view of Henry Montague. He is an upper-class Englishman who is about to embark on a grand tour of Europe in the 1800s. He's being joined by his best friend Percy, who Monty is secretly in love with, and his younger sister Felicity, who Monty doesn't have a very good relationship with. Monty has recently been kicked out of a very prestigious boarding school and fully intends to embrace his typical hedonist behaviors by drinking, gambling, and flirting his way across the continent over the next year. Before he leaves, his father tells him when he returns he's going to be expected to take over the family estate. However, if Monty gets up to anything too scandalous on his trip, then he's going to be disowned and left penniless. Despite being given this ultimatum, Monty's poor judgment and brash behavior does still manage to get the better of him, and he unwittingly finds himself and his companions roped into a much larger adventure as they are pulled into the center of a manhunt and have to flee across Europe. I read this book for the first time very recently, though I've been aware of it and its positive buzz for probably about a year now. I'm really glad I finally decided to pick it up because I had a really fun time reading it. It's fast-paced, the conflict the main trio gets roped into, it has a lot of unexpected twists and turns that kind of keep you on your toes, and honestly the novel is a bit more thoughtful than I expected it to be. This is a book that deals with a lot of serious subject matter, things like child abuse, racism, homophobia, ableism. And though this novel doesn't shy away from exploring these kinds of topics, it does manage to still balance its tone very well, never getting too dark, but also not simply brushing aside the more serious issues the characters face. I think this balancing act is really exemplified in the character of Monty. Monty's a great example of a flawed but still likable protagonist. He's clever and witty and charming, his narration tends to be genuinely pretty funny, but he's also kind of self-involved and can be oblivious to what's going on with the people around him. For example, his best friend Percy is biracial and has a darker skin tone, and this is a book that takes place in the Victorian era. So when the two of them go off into these upper-class events, Percy's treated differently than Monty. He is shunned or just kind of seen as an oddity. And Monty has a sort of a hard time wrapping his head around why this is something that bothers Percy so much. Because to Monty it's a non-issue. These people don't really matter, so their opinion shouldn't bother him. And Percy gets really frustrated with Monty for struggling to acknowledge just how different society treats them both, and how Monty is privileged to opportunities that Percy isn't simply because of how he looks. Even with these faults, Monty's a character with more vulnerabilities than what might be initially apparent. And witnessing his growth throughout the course of the novel is actually really rewarding. By the end of the book, it's very easy to root for him and even feel proud of all the strides that he's made. And I think that's the note I'm going to end on. To summarize, if you're looking for a quick, fun read that carries with it a good measure of depth, I would definitely recommend this book. It's also the first of a series, so if you like it, there's more. And just before I sign off, I do want to remind you to visit the Wellington County website at www.wellington.ca/library if you want to search our catalog or find lists and reviews from library staff and other readers.